Welcome everybody to a special edition of Tasting Notes. I am joined by Dave, not Roland today. Roland is holding my cue cards. So, today is IPA Day. What is IPA Day? It is not Indigenous Peoples of America. It is not incredibly pretentious assholes, although you might think that I am one at the end of this video. By giving you the history of IPAs, no, IPAs are India Pale Ales. So, as I pour myself a nice Brooklyn Defender IPA, which is an IPA that we were looking to get for our official IPA video, I'm going to give you kind of a history of the IPA, the India Pale Ale. So what happened was, in the late 1800s, as Britain began to colonize the world, they obviously like to drink, as we all do. And what happened was they would go farther and farther places, kind of colonizing, and what would happen is they realized that the ales were too difficult to brew in certain areas like India, and so that they couldn't do it. So obviously this became a problem. People really enjoyed their ales, and there was a man by the name of George Hodges around this time who was like, you know what, I have an idea. I'm going to add more hops, I'm going to make it a higher APV, alcohol per volume. Both of those act as a preservative. So what would happen is the ales were able to last longer, they could be shipped farther, and people could enjoy them. Now, Mr. Hodges kind of spread himself too thin. The quality went down, and in steps this brewery, Burton-on-Trent. They're like, kind of like middle England. Middle of England, not mid-England in terms of history. But anyway, so they improved through better water, they had a better hop system, just an overall brighter ale, and people really enjoyed them. And so they kind of took over. And Samuel Alsop, who's the head brewmaster at Burton, dubbed his new brew India Pale Ale, and that's where we get the name from, IPA. So what happened is, fast forwarding 100 years, 19th century, lagers started taking over. So first it started in the pubs, and then as, you know, it started growing popularity in the pubs, and they would go out and those people would colonize and go explore. They wanted to take lagers with them, and ales kind of started petering out. And then, you know, that trend kind of continued into America during Prohibition, when all alcohol was outlawed, and basically the ales just kind of, IPAs, ales in general, just kind of dissipated. Until the 1970s. So about 50 years later, they regained popularity because the craft beer movement started. So what happened was all these smaller breweries, these craft breweries, started brewing beer, and they wanted to kind of go back to what used to be brewed. And they would go and they would look at like really old recipes, and this one brewery in California stumbled upon the recipe for an IPA, and they started making it. And it became super, super popular, and it actually saved the one brewery, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, saved them from like bankruptcy. And over the next 10 years, continuing into the late 80s, IPAs became the most popular style of craft beer. And, you know, it was the hops. People just really enjoyed it. Was like a new flavor to them. People didn't have so much hops in their beer. They really enjoyed it. It became like a new flavor. And they were just like, all right, we gotta add more, we gotta add more, we gotta add more. To a point where people started questioning, is this still an IPA? There's so much hops in this, is this an IPA or is this something different? And what they called it was a double IPA or an imperial IPA. Now, there's kind of a bit of a mythos about the name. Some people say it's double because there's double the hops. Some people say it's imperial because the hops take over the beer. Whatever it is, I like IPAs. I don't particularly like imperial or double IPAs. But we're going to try some Brooklyn. Happy IPA Day. Enjoy.